um, and underestimated the impact of and underestimated the execution of. And I think that was quite impactful, and was what sort of lit the match here. But that doesn't change the fact that I wasn't on top of my shit.
Hey, Mario, since he's leaving in 5 or 10 minutes, can I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, man. While we bring up the guest. Go ahead.
Fantastic. Hey, Sam, did you or any of your business entities or family members ever make any donations to political parties or politicians on the Bahamas?
I'm not sure, not to my knowledge.
You can't just say that answer that with yes or no?
I don't know of cases where we did. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily know if like someone had at some point made some donation on behalf of some entity. But like I don't know of that having happened.
Okay. Have you and your lawyers been in touch with the U.S. Department of Justice about your case?
I can't talk about any specific communications or lack thereof with specific regulatory agencies. But obviously we'd be looking to engage constructively if if and when that were to happen.
The reason why I'm asking is in several interviews you pointed out that FTX US has enough funds to pay US customers.
Yes.
Is that a strategy to ensure that the US Department of Justice doesn't charge you with a crime because the DOJ doesn't have jurisdiction over foreign FTX customers?
I mean, it's a true fact. It's like FTX US was in fact a segregated business, and it didn't have any of the properties that led to the issues on FTX International. And so, to my knowledge, it is solvent, and that doesn't take away what happened on the international platform. But I don't know, at least it's something.
Have you transferred funds to FTX US before the bankruptcy to enable this defense strategy?
No, FTX US was, to my knowledge, always solvent.
In some of the recent interviews, you used the phrase, "I don't have the details," 116 times. Why is it that you know so little about your own companies or even about the real estate deals that you facilitated for your parents?
So, many of these things were things where I was not the one who was primarily doing them. And then many of these things are things where there exists data that would make it entirely possible to answer these questions. But unfortunately, I don't have access to that data right now. And you could ask the Chapter 11 team to try and get access to such data that might help answer some of these questions. But I don't have that data about my the companies that I started right now.
Okay.
I see Kim, if we can give CoffeeZilla the mic after this question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. Kim, last question. CoffeeZilla, the mic is yours.
Two more things really quick. So you keep saying that you want to help your customers getting their money back. What are the concrete steps that you are taking?
So, I mean, look, a lot of this isn't in my control right now, and a lot of this is going to be up to the global administrators and regulators who are involved. But I'm happy to be of assistance to any of them any way that I can, and in any way that they want me to be. But I would be excited to be, to the extent that I could help find help put together anyways, or be a part of that to help make make customers more whole by probably by there being more funds for them to have access to.
CoffeeZilla, the mic is yours, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I just wanted to quickly ask, so there's this big question about this $8 billion that went into some kind of a stub account. If I just want to get some clarification on this, from my understanding, what you're basically claiming is that back when FTX didn't have banking, you'd use Silvergate to have people to wire money to Alameda Research and then credit them on the FTX side, but you didn't actually account for that money going back to them. So essentially you had like $8 billion coming to FTX you didn't have on the books technically? I mean, how can you explain more how that worked? Because it seems like such a key part of this whole thing. And so far, we've gotten like very vague things about stub accounts. Just try to be as specific as you can on how that actually happened.
So, um, so, and again, some of these are things I'm trying to piece together that I don't have the full answer to, but I think that part of it was, I believe that there was, correct FTX accounting, in terms of, the audited financials, but, but that at least I can say that when you sort of pulled up, on a dashboard, what the accounts look like, it would not have it wouldn't have displayed those transfers, and it wouldn't have displayed the balances related to those, which meant that it was that the sort of what you would naively see as the relevant it's the relevant sort of position size was quite a bit smaller than what the full position size was.
Specifically, you're talking about the funds that went into Alameda that was credited to FT on the customer side on FTX.
Yeah,
you're saying
right.
You're saying that basically when you looked at your dashboard, Alameda was using those funds to trade perhaps, but that ultimately you couldn't see that on the Alameda side because there was some kind of an accounting problem where there was a mix up with where it was credited. Is that the story?
Yeah, it's something roughly like that, or at the very least that the common displays of it did not include that piece of the accounting.
A real quick second follow up. So I've talked to a few Alameda insiders, and I've kind of run them by your story of things. I think you probably are aware. I'm pretty skeptical, and one of them, when I told them like sort of like, could it be that Sam wouldn't know about this? Somebody who worked with you, and they actually like they laughed and they said, "There's no way he's like claiming to be stupid now when he was like this genius wonder kid." And so my sense of things is, how do you explain this? How do you explain the fact that some of the people who worked with you for years, your employees, have come out and said, there's no way he didn't know about these back doors. There's no way he didn't know what Caroline was doing when you guys were very close. The offices were right next to each other. I mean, how do you expect us to believe this story you're spinning?
I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, I had a lot going on, and I was spread thin. I was a bit less grounded than I had been before, and I lost track of a lot of important things. And I mean, I think that those
hang on
things.
1 second. I think spread thin is one thing, right? Like, I think, things can get out of hand, but we're talking about a fundamental understanding of whether Alameda was commingling funds with FTX. I mean, I saw your Stephanopoulos and Sorkin interview, and you're pretty categorical that you had no idea that you were mingling funds. So that's what I'm asking about, not like, did you know exactly what was happening on November 7th or 8th? I mean, I can understand sort of things getting out of control, but we're talking about the most fundamental grasp on how your business worked. You're telling us you had no idea.
Details of them, and I was not spending much time and on looking at position risk management. It was a big mistake.
I mean, we're right.
Right, Sam. I've just got I've just got a DM. Sam has to leave. So guys,
Wait, can I, Mark? Can I
guys, all right, guys. I just got to end it, guys. So because Sam has been DMing me nonstop about having to leave, and I don't want to just drop out for the last 10 minutes, saying I have to leave. So Sam, the last question I wanna end it with is there's two camps right now. One camp is looking at this and saying, Sam. All right. So guys. So on one side, the audience, I'm looking at the comments, is like, hey, Sam is at least speaking despite lawyers telling him not to, and looking at this in a very positive light. On the other side, people are saying your answers are very calculated. You're dodging any tricky questions. And this is all part of a plan to paint yourself in a better light. And I do have to admit, there are some answers where they're very, very calculated, and you try to dodge them in one way or another. So to conclude it from my end, what's next? What's next for you in the next few weeks? What can we expect? And what can FTX customers expect? Because you did say that FTX US, they should be made whole. FTX International, I think 30 cents on the dollar. What can the people that were hurt by this, there's some comments about people, kind of hurts me to say this, but, talking about ending their life. And we've had some of these people on stage. What can they expect over the next few weeks and months? And that question is for Sam, just for all other panelists, please. Go ahead, Sam.
I mean, look, I'm incredibly sorry about what happened, and I know that doesn't change anything. I'm gonna do what I can, even if that's not much. But at the end of the day, hopefully, hopefully there will be pathways that will be able to get more funds back for users. Hopefully there will be pathways that open up withdrawals where they can be, and that maximize the value ultimately that users can get. But in the end, that's a lot of that's not going to be up to me. I'm just going to try and be helpful where I can there. But I'm sorry.
Sam, you keep saying you can do what you can. What you're going to do as much as you can. You said it when the liquidator, when you went into Chapter 11. I'm trying to understand in your head, what do you think you can do in your current position, given the fact that the liquidators on both sides, well, the liquidators on the US side have said that you're no longer involved and that you're no longer to speak on behalf of the company. And I genuinely believe that you really want to help. I'm just trying to understand in your head, when you talk about doing whatever you can and trying to do it, what do you think is in your hands?
I am sorry. So I do have to hop off now, but all I can do is I can be helpful to all the teams who want me to globally, and I'm going to continue to do that if and when I'm asked, and look for other ways over time that I can hopefully help contribute. But yeah, there's a limit to how much different groups are going to want me to, and I understand that.
Mario, can we keep the space open after Sam drops?
Yeah, we will. So after just for everyone, hold on. Hold on. Just want to say, because I know